Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. In this video we're going to be looking at the Witch Bolt spell. It's a first level Sorcerer, Warlock, and Wizard spell. It says a beam of crackling blue energy lances out toward a creature within range, forming a sustained arc of lightning between you and the target. Make a ranged spell attack against that creature. On a hit, the target takes 1d12 lightning damage, and on each of your turns for the duration, you can use your action to deal 1d12 damage to the target automatically. The spell ends if you use your action to do anything else. The spell also ends if the target is ever outside the spell's range or if it has total cover. And then you get 1d12 for each level you cast it above first level. So what this spell does is you cast it, and it's like an arc of lightning that is constant for up to a minute, so 10 rounds. So if you hit, that lightning arc stays there, and then every subsequent turn for up to a minute, you just get to do damage. You don't have to attack again. It's just automatic hit every time. So, two things we have to ask the user. The first thing is this the initial attack or is it follow-up damage? And the second thing we need to know is what level are they casting it at? So this is a pretty complicated, and rather than walk through the whole thing, I'm going to just pull it up and we're going to look at it together. And this is it. I'm going to try to walk you through this. First thing you might notice is that name is normally up here. We normally have name equals, blah, 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 and then two brackets. But we're going to name it something different based on their choice. So we have moved the name down. So first thing we do is we do range 30 feet, concentration up to a minute, and then the first question we're going to ask is attack or damage. And the two choices that they can make are initial attack, right here, or follow-up damage. Those are the two choices they have. And then, nested within those questions is another question, cast at level. Okay, so let me run this so you can see just the questions. So the first thing is, this is an initial attack or is it follow-up damage? So if I say initial attack, then it asks me what level do I want to cast it at. Or if I ask if it's follow-up damage, again, it's going to ask me what level I want to cast it at. So it asks two questions inside of each other. One thing you might notice is that normally up here, we always start and end rows with double braces. So normally we would do this. And so this right here would be 2 open braces, 2 closing braces. But you can't do that inside nested queries. So what you have to do is you have to use what are called replacement characters. And so instead of putting 2 braces, we use this ampersand pound 125 semicolon. I just call them pound 125s. 2 of those is the same as writing 2 braces, but you have to replace it because it's inside a nested query and it'll break because there's too many braces and brackets and commas and pipes. Basically, we've replaced these 2 braces with 125s, and then we ask our second question, or what level you want to cast it at. And the pound 124s are the same replacement characters for a pipe. So we have to again nest everything that's inside this first, everything from here down has to be replaced because it's the second level of nesting. So cast at level, and then we have our levels 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now if they pick level 1, we want to start a row that does our attack. And then we're going to attack twice, which is this right here. We're going to go get Skeeky's spell attack bonus because they make a spell attack against it. And then now, normally, if you looked at this up here, that's the same as 2 right braces. Well, now we're nested second level deep, so we have to add AMP colon to this. And so this is the same as this, but because it's nested 2 levels deep, we have to add that. And then if we had another one inside this, which you can do, you'd have to do amp like that. So it'd have to be amp 125 instead of amp 125. So these 2 amp 125s are the same as 2 braces, but because they're nested 2 levels deep, they have to have the amp. So then we do the damage. Again, we start another row, and again we have to have the 2 amp 125s to end the row, which again would be the same as doing your 2 braces. And then your pound 124 is your corresponding pipe. So you would have a pipe here. Normally, if you weren't nested, this is what it would look like, right? You would have a pipe after every one of these, but you can't do that. You have to replace it. And then you get to the very last option, and instead of a pipe, you're going to use another pound 125. It's nested at the same level as these are, so you don't need to amp 125. So then you have a regular pipe because it's on the first nested level. Then you have your second option, follow-up damage, and the name is going to be different than if they pick this one. It'll say witch bolt follow-up damage. Then we have our cast at level again, our pipe replacement, our level 1, and pound 44 is all these. Down this column are commas. So it's the same as writing a comma, but because we're nested, we have to replace that. Then we start the row, lightning damage, and then every level they cast, you get one more die 12. And then because we're nested 2 levels deep, we have to do this to make up for that. And then we have our pipes. And at the very end, we have another brace. And then we have one more section that we've added, one more row that has information. So let's run it and see what it does. So you're going to run this. And first, when you attack, you're going to do initial attack. And then you tell it what level you want to cast at. So we'll just go with level 1 and submit. So you got range 30 feet, concentration up to a minute. So this is all for the DM. The attack is 29. It's 1 die 20 plus 9 because we used skeeki, so we went and got his spell attack bonus, which is a plus 9. So it's 1 die 20 plus 9, and he crit. Although he probably would have hit on either one, even with disadvantage. And then lightning damage is 1 die 12. And then for the duration, must use your action to do damage or spell ends. So if you use your action to do anything but follow-up damage, the spell will end. And then the spell also ends if target is outside range or has total cover. So now, let's say you did that, you hit. Now you come back this time around, it's going to be follow-up damage. And again, we level 1. And so now we don't have an attack because it's an automatic hit. So now it's just 1 die 12 damage. Let's do initial attack, but we're going to cast it. We're going to cast it at level, say, 4. So here's your hit, your damage, or your attack, and then your damage is 4 die 12. See, because you cast it at level 4. And then if you do your follow-up damage at level 4, it also is 4 die 12. And then if you were casting it higher at level, 7, it should be 7 die 12, and it is. In the programming world, ideally you would use variables and save what level you're casting at and save if it's initial or damage, and then you could just refer to those variables going forward. But you may be able to do that in the API or power cards, but this channel is about making macros available to the average Joes who don't have pro accounts and is available to everyone. So this is the way we have to do it to work around that. Is it long? Yeah, but that doesn't matter. It can be 1,000 lines. It doesn't matter to you because the system just reads it. So the work is trying to get it to work right. And this can be very finicky if you don't get all of your replacements and nested levels right and your amps right and all that kind of stuff. Trust me, sometimes I go round and round and round because I got one little amp wrong or I got the level is wrong. So it's very complicated. This is one of the more complicated macros we've done so far. They do get more complicated, but it's pretty cool when you get it to work right. So hopefully that'll help you. If you have any questions, leave a comment. If you have any macros you'd like to see, leave a comment. Appreciate you watching. Have a great day. See you on the next one.